from Bel-Air Bowl in Belleville, Illinois, just minutes from St. Louis. The PBA is live on ESPN. Our 5 finalists are ready to roll. First from Claremont, Florida. His 11 career titles include 3 Tournament of Champions.
It's payback time!
And this season's PBA Pepsi Open in Grand Rapids is Jason Couch. Making his tour-leading 6th TV appearance of the season. He has 2 titles this year. From Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Tampere, Finland, Mika Koivuniemi. From Temecula, California, 4-time PBA titleist appearing on the 2nd TV show of the season, Dennis Horan Jr. His best finish of the season is 3rd 4 different times. Today he appears in his 5th TV finals and looks for a 2nd career title from Amarillo, Texas, another lefty, Mike Scroggins. And from Ocala, Florida, his career defies description. 2nd all-time in wins, 1st in earnings, 6-time Player of the Year, and a Hall of Famer, Walter Ray Williams Jr. The march to the PBA World Championship has just 2 tour stops left. Today we're live in Belleville, Illinois. Just a quick drive from St. Louis. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson. Let's check those matchups, Randy.
The wild card match is a rematch of this season's Cambridge Credit Classic when Mika Koivuniemi threw a 300 game at Jason Couch. Semifinal number 1 is a battle of lefties as Dennis Horan Jr. takes on Mike Scroggins. And Walter Ray Williams Jr., looking for his 40th career win, waits for either Mika or Jason Couch.
We are ready. What a matchup, folks, to begin our TV show today here from suburban St. Louis. So the all-time greats of the game. Mika has earned that status this year with a tremendous 2003-04 year. Jason Couch, hard-throwing lefty. Underway, solid 7 for Jason Couch.
All right, good shot. Good shot. Hard-throwing lefty and a big, hard ringing 7. Jason said last night to us, Dave, he was satisfied with his year. Big thing was to get that win and earn that exempt spot for next year.
Which he did. Won last fall, first part of our season. Covers the 7 for a mark. So they like more titles. Mika, one of 6 multiple title winners this year on the PBA Tour. His 5th season. Born and raised Tampere, Finland. Now lives in Ann Arbor, Michigan, very close to the University of Michigan campus. Although a new home, as we'll tell you, is in the works. Perfect start for Mika Koivuniemi, leading us to the Baby Ruth real deal matchup, Randy.
Jason Couch, huge advantage right here, partly to do with the fact that in the 2nd round of match play, he averaged 260. However, Mika versus left-handers, 7-0 on TV, and this season has yet to be eliminated from any tournament by a left-hander.
With that loft and the pace, Mika Koivuniemi, 6th TV appearance of this season. We asked him last night, who's your vote for Player of the Year? He said, being honest, myself, because has the 2 titles, has been so consistent all year long. Has a 300 game on TV in wins or locks. PBA Reno Open and 1 wins or locks. 2 titles. Couch has 7 again.
Shot. What causes the ringing 7 is too much angle late down the lane. Bowling ball going too far down the lane before it starts to grab, and it comes into the pocket a bit too sharp.
And takes care of the 7 for another spare, but that may not be enough the way things have gone head-to-head with Mika. We'll tell you more about the head-to-head matchups which have been very interesting. There's Jason Couch, the road to his TV show. Walter Ray Williams Jr. lost in 6 games. He is the wild card because the highest qualifier in the first 2 9-game blocks amongst the losers in the round of 8. Yes, Stayrook had a very nice appearance here.
Yes, he did. Jason Couch, the #1 qualifier after 18 games. So he knew going in that if he made it to the round of 8, he was assured the wild card spot bare minimum.
Has to keep going. That's the way to do it. Jason Couch, first strike of the match for him after 2 spares.
A lot of those, baby. A lot of those.
He'd like more.
This is why you put power and revs on a bowling ball to carry this half-pocket hit. Jason's rev rate and power and ball speed, that 15-pound ball going through the pins, they have no chance.
Looks for a 3 straight, 3-bagger to begin the match. Chance for a 21-pin lead. A 10-pin for Mika. We talked about head-to-head against lefties on TV. Mika is perfect. He and Jason Couch had quite a match earlier this season, we'll tell you about.
One of the things that we didn't see over at St. Clair Bowl was this carry issue early on. The carry over there was fantastic, phenomenal. That's why the scores were so high, not because the lane conditions were necessarily easy.
Takes care of the mark. Remember the last time we saw these 2 guys head-to-head on TV, Windsor Locks, Connecticut. It was in December. Remember that unbelievable blizzard we all had to battle through to get to the center? And you guessed it. Big job. 300 game for Mika. Jason said to us last night, be pretty difficult for Mika to match that. I asked him about the celebration, too. Why'd you hug Mika? I mean, you can't be too happy to see someone get a 300 against you. He said, once I knew I was out of the match, I really was rooting for Mika to complete the feat, get 12 straight, and the huge bonus from Cambridge Credit Council.
Yeah, and we've seen that with all of the 300s that we've had on the telecasts over the years. When a player's eliminated, he's out of the match, he sits down and watches his opponent and roots for him to bowl that perfect game.
Looks for 2 in a row. Yes! Gets it.
Come on, one more like that.
All even.
This ball starts to pick up a little bit sooner, and that's why the 4-pin goes to the sidewall and kicks the 7 out. Jason taking his 2nd re-rack. We're allowed 2 re-racks per game. He's already out of re-racks. We're only through 4 frames.
Windsor Locks, when the 300 was rolled by Mika, he was the only right-hander in the field. Here we have 3 lefties, so similar circumstance. Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Mika are the right-handers. How that affects the oil breakdown, always fascinating at this level.
You're killing me, Rothy.
A direct reference to our producer, Mike Roth. Jason and Mike are good buddies. And Jason calls it the Rothy factor.
Yeah.
He had a perfect record going last night until Mike entered the center. I think in the round of 8.
Yeah, but if Rothy has anything to say about it, it's that last graphic.
7-pin.
Can't throw him no better.
Or any better.
Looking to make it 4 or 5 strikes. Mika 1-pin lead.
Using 2 different bowling balls. Mika playing a similar line that he played in Windsor Locks when he bowled a perfect game.
Oh! Wants it to hold. Says that in English, and it does. Very nicely for him.
Mika attributes all the success this year to Ron Hoppy, his coach, for helping him stay within himself and his game. And his game is loft and going nice and direct. His first 4 years on tour, he only made 5 shows. This year, 6.
Unbelievable. Look at the road to TV here in the St. Louis area. Over another legend, Mike Albee. Blew past him in 4 straight in the round of 32, best of 7. No! Another strike for Mika. And he has got a 21-pin lead on Jason Couch. It's the wild card. 2 of the best in the game, head-to-head. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic is brought to you by the official candy bar of the PBA, Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. By Dexter Bowling Golf and Casual, we are the right shoe for you. And by Cambridge Credit Counseling, log on to nodebt.com and find out how good it feels to be debt-free. Gateway to the West, there it is in downtown St. Louis, Missouri, the Arch. And what great fan support we've had at both centers here. Bel-Air Bowl in Belleville, Illinois. Suburban St. Louis hosting the TV show tonight. Welcome back, Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson. In Connecticut, we had 4 of the 5 at Windsor Locks. Lefties are the competitors. Mika was the lone man, the righty, and he won that. Question is, can he do it today? We had 15 of 32 in match play left-handers. Why so much dominance with lefties, you think?
Well, lane conditions had a big part of that. You know, the lefties did dominate this week, but 2 right-handers with serious Player of the Year implications really stepped up their games. Mika Koivuniemi and Walter A. Williams Jr. But the road to victory today still goes through the southpaws. And let me show you why. Pattern D this week allowed the left-handers to play where they're accustomed to playing outside. There was dry left, oil right. That allowed them to go really straight. Even though Jason throws the big hook ball, you see he's even going straight. Walter and Mika, on the other hand, they're going to play out and try to burn up a friction spot to try to give them a little bit of an advantage to get their ball to face the 1-3 pocket consistently. 9 out of the top 10 who qualified this week left-handed. And when that happens, that's just proof in the pudding.
As was the case in Windsor Locks when Mika won with 4 lefties on the show. Is that a good start against another left-hander? Oh, just avoiding the 7-10. And the 7-up only. Jason Couch.
We saw Jason leave a number of blowout 7-10s last night. And right now the difference in this match, plain and simple, bad pin carry for Jason Couch.
Interesting to note, Walter A. Williams Jr. told us pin carry was so much better at the other center. And it was a big question whether or not we'd have the same carry at the new center, kind of like an arena setting. March to the PBA World Championship. There you see it, points. Brad Angelo, who was not one on tour but has had a good season, is #1. He's clinched already. And they're all going for that top 8, the round of Super 16, the season-ending World Championship on the line today. 25,000 points, $40,000. As Couch bids for a 12th career title.
A lot of times on our tour, when you're hitting the pocket and you're not striking, it forces you to try to get the ball there a little bit different. And actually, a lot of times it forces you into making bad shots as a result of bad carry. I guarantee if Jason would have struck on half of those 9 spares, he wouldn't have missed the pocket there.
Little double wood. And a 3-9 down for Jason Couch. Mika's got a 3-bagger going, and he struck in 5 of 6 frames. 24-pin lead now, trying to keep command against the lefties. As he told us, coming out onto the lanes and the intros in finish, I do not lose to left-handers. That was the translation. Oh, avoids a split. That's good for him, as the 4 is still up.
I mentioned earlier 2 different bowling balls. He's using a ball that rolls earlier on the right lane with a smoother break point down the lane. On the left lane, using a ball that goes a little bit longer, a little bit sharper back end. He told me right before we went on the air that the right lane was hooking much more for him.
Oh, he slipped there. Footwork issue. Yeah, Mika's lucky just to get the 4-pin down. Not get injured at the same time.
Well, you want to know why it's important to have a nice straight swing? This is why. Even though he falls off balance, he's still able to direct the ball in a straight line. If that had been a strike ball, never would have hit the pocket because his release would have been altered. But because it's a plastic ball and he's throwing it straight and hard, no friction's created. All you have to do is throw it in a straight line.
Any footwork adjustments because we're at a new center today as opposed to all the qualifying through the round of 8? That's high. Oh, almost had the big 4 up.
Wow.
And the 4-6-10 remain.
Well, in answering your question, you know, before we go on the air, the approaches are always cleaned. As you see, this ball is going to cut right through the heart, letting Jason Couch right back in the match.
Just 1 of 10 so far. Almost impossible. Oh! He gets it off the back of the wall.
Unbelievable. Look at Jason. Jason's like waving the red flag, the white flag. Watch this. Straight and hard at the 6-10. The 6 comes out from the back. It takes out the 4. Major Mika's at it again.
You saw Jason's facial reaction. He's very expressive, certainly. Demonstrative with all of his emotions. And he knew what an unbelievably big shot that was. And open, he was right back in. Now he's down 20. And that's high after a ball change.
Went to a much more aggressive bowling ball, and that's why it overhooked. And again, all of that because of the bad carry he had early on. And right when Jason thought he was going to be let back in, it was like somebody just punched him right in the head.
Speaking of that, now this was during the in-house introductions, and Jason was just having a little fun, and you better watch out. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Bowling is not a full-contact sport, folks. This isn't hockey.
He's giving him the pterodactyl arm there.
It was funny to watch those two last night in our meetings with them. They're having a lot of fun poking fun at one another and not joking around. Sort of like that. But it's not serious, folks. They're very strict competitors when they get on the lanes, certainly on a TV show like this, but good buddies off of the lane.
Goes back to the other ball that doesn't hit quite as much, and this is what happens. 3-7.
Could not convert the difficult split as Mika did. 7 stands. Folks, be sure to click on PBA.com for all the latest PBA Tour info and enter Jackson Hewitt Strike It Rich and live tax-free for a year sweepstakes. One lucky winner will have a chance to roll 3 strikes for $50,000 to the PBA World Championship, and a runner-up will have their 2003 tax burden paid by Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. Sure, log on. Back to Big Mika. 4.
No problems with the approach there. This match is all but over. Mika just has to cover his spare here, stay behind the foul line, and he will advance.
Takes care of his mark. We've told you about daughter Ida, who, along with mom Lena and little sister Lydia, made the trip. Lydia is only 3 years old, so she's not quite old enough yet to watch in the arena setting, but I'm sure is watching backstage on TV. Ida's a big fan, 10 years old. And had hoped Dad could get the winnings so they could buy a new house in Ann Arbor with a pool, and he's done just that.
Speaking of big fans, I have to wish happy birthday to my little girl, Savannah.
Absolutely. Leap year baby.
Leap year baby. Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Oh, 8 years old, little Savannah. Congratulations, honey. Jason Couch will finish it out. His daughters, Courtney and Haley, watching back home in Florida today. Unfortunately, girls, Daddy didn't quite overcome the lefty jinx maker that Mika Koivuniemi has been. Speaking of lefties, 2 more southpaws come your way. Dennis Horan Jr., Mike Scroggins, semifinal number 1. As they burn up that left side, approaching the oil pattern, but 1 southpaw has been knocked out.
And that will guarantee us at least 1 southpaw in the title match.
Mika flirting with a channel there, that big loft, but he's wrapped it up. And we are fast-tracking here since Jason Couch has been knocked out. A bid to become the first 3-time titleist of our season. Mika Koivuniemi continues. He'll take on another great righty, Walter A. Williams Jr. in a set. 14 majors among our field. Walter Williams, 6. Jason Couch, 4, but he's been knocked out. Mika, 2, and Dennis Horan, 2. Dennis is getting set to take on Mike Scroggins. Long time since he's won. We may have a new winner next week as well in Indianapolis. That's where we're going. The Interoil Tire Classic, 12:30 Eastern Time, folks. Mark it down on your calendars for the start time as we continue the march toward the PBA World Championship, Ypsilanti, Michigan, the Eastern Michigan University campus. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Interoil Tire Classic, next Sunday live coverage. Dennis Horan, right of your screen, gets us going in this semi.
Beautiful shot to start the match. Dennis Horan, his buddies out on tour call him Denny. Just a real nice guy. His wife Terry at home. Daughter Courtney. Super people.
We've seen plenty of this guy on TV. 5th appearance for Mike Scroggins. Had a good start for him, too. Leading us, Randy, directly to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Pretty big difference here in average. And there's a reason why Mike Scroggins averaged that high. Going against Jeff Smith last night in the round of 8. He swept him with a closing 299 game where he left a solid 7-pin to get him to advance.
Great season, as we mentioned. 5 TV appearances. Much better than last year, but still no wins on TV this season. With shots like that, that could change dramatically today. 4 straight TV shows, no wins on television yet for Mike Scroggins.
Every show we see him on, he does this the first 2 frames. He goes strike, strike, and then all of a sudden,
however,
the 3rd frame comes up and bites him in the rear end.
Oh, boy, you might jinx him, partner. We'll see. He's had a huge bugaboo, folks, in his 3rd frame. Oh! Wants it to hold, 4-7. Up for Dennis Horan. It's a great look from our crew, our director, Scott Katz, at how his head is in such a higher position than Mike Scroggins. Both lefties, but different approaches.
Yes, and that one just got away from me. It looked like he got fast, and when you get fast, you have a tendency to pull it.
From Southern California. 2nd TV appearance of the season. Denny Horan also on in Kansas City. And it was quickly dispatched there. Another lefty, Chris Hayden, went down. Winner in Orlando last year. And then yet another southpaw, Jess Stayrook, in 5 games last night in a round of 8.
And last week's winner, Steve Jarris.
One of our 6 two-time winners. Maybe Mika becomes the first 3-time winner this year. We'll see. 7-pin. He's started very well in his matches, certainly. But does that carry over to the TV format where it's just 1 game possibly?
Well, he would like to hope so.
Totally different setting. Great look at how his focal point, as we'll break down later in our broadcast today, is so much different than a lot of bowlers on tour, the way he holds his head on the approach toward the foul line.
Yeah, we'll talk about the way Dennis Horan goes about targeting when we get to our Dexter approach. Very unique, very different. And right now, Mike Scroggins looking to get off the 3rd frame schneid.
Can he do it? It's been a real trouble for him. Oh, well, he avoids the split. That's the good news. 3 of his 4 shows, folks, prior this year, he has opened in the 3rd frame. And he told us last night, I'm just going to look right past it. I'm not going to try to linger on my troubles. He's got a chance to do just that by converting the spare.
Look out.
He did it. He's happy for that.
Lots of different styles on the PBA Tour. Check a look at this here, how low Mike Scroggins holds it. Mika, the tallest player on the telecast, kind of at his waist, and look how high Jason Couch holds it. They all 3 get the ball started at different times, different positions. The key, repetition, doing it the same way every time.
4th frame. In the pocket goes for lefty Mike Scroggins.
And anytime you can give Mike Scroggins angle to the pocket, what I mean by that is when he can play the outside part of the lane, Mike Scroggins is going to be very hard to beat. As you see, this ball is going to be perfect in the 1-2. Mike Scroggins, back some 4 or 5 years ago, did have the nation's highest average in league at over 250. Wow. For an entire season.
Big numbers for Dennis Horan Jr. as well. 73 events for him without a win total. Well, the number is mind-boggling for Mike Scroggins. 184 and counting. In a long time. Goes back to 1992, his last victory on tour.
Come on! Yes!
Just want Dennis Horan Jr. wanted.
There we go. Open hand at the top. Beautiful hand release at the bottom. And right back in the match. All even after 5.
Chance for a 10-pin lead. Scroggins works on a strike. Open strike in 4 of his first 5 frames. 5th frame for Mike.
Yeah!
Does it. And coming in from Bel-Air Bowl. Belleville, Illinois, very close to St. Louis, about half an hour away or so. From downtown, Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, our entire crew, live coverage of the PBA Tour continuing here on ESPN. March to the World Championship, folks, is getting close. After all, March 1st is tomorrow. And it wraps up on the 21st. Ypsilanti, Michigan. Great tickets are available, folks. By the way, log on to PBA.com for the arena final and our season finale.
Yeah!
Perfect ball. And a 20-pin lead. Lefty against lefty. We'll have a left-handed finalist. Welcome back to the Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic. Bel-Air Bowl, Belleville, Illinois, everyone. Dennis Horan Jr. Our lefty Mike Scroggins, our first semifinal. Ready breaks down the smooth style in this week's Dexter approach.
We talked about the unique way Dennis Horan targets. He doesn't look at the pins or a target. He looks right here, the reflection of the pins. Look at those eyes. No, he's not looking at the pins. A target some 50 feet down the lane. Why is his release and hand so good? Open at the top, hand and elbow to the inside part of the bowling ball. And because he's looking so far down the lane, there's no grab at that release point.
Why do you think that is, Randy?
Well, for Dennis Horan, it was just a way for him to get out of it cleanly. When he looked short, he tend to grab a shot every now and then. Players tend to adjust their length of their target based on how soon they want the ball to hook. Another great shot. If a player wants his ball to hook sooner, Dave, he's going to look shorter. Sometimes at the dots before the arrows. If they want the ball to push a little bit further down the lane, they're going to look longer. They just move their eyes front to back and side to side.
3 straight frames, 4 through 6. Chance for a 4-bagger coming up now for Dennis Horan Jr. Looking at the reflection as Randy broke down. Wanted it to hold. Not exactly.
Come on, that wasn't that bad.
247.
See this ball going high. He thought it was pretty good out of his hand. Can't believe that it hooked high. Dennis with a little more hand, a little stronger ball than Mike Scroggins. His ball is going to be a little bit more sensitive to the oil pattern.
Multi-pin numbers brings the percentage up. And it's a 13-pin lead for Scroggins. That's what Mike Scroggins wants, trying to win his first TV match of the season. Coming up next, the IRL season begins on ESPN. 2003 points champion Scott Dixon, 2-time Indy 500 champion. Elio Castroneves, Tomas Schechter, Tony Hanan as well. And there are the points from last year. Scott Dixon won it. Sam Hornish, by the way, a very big bowling fan. He's been out to several of our PBA events. Scroggins gets them all down. Late help on a 10.
Big strike there. You know, that racetrack not far from my home, and last year only 6 degrees of banking. This year 20 degrees, which equals about 20 miles an hour more speed.
Wow, something on Sports Center this morning. Big difference with the track. Total renovation. A very exciting event coming up. 33-pin lead. Scroggins on a roll of 5. Hanan needs a rally in a hurry. There's a good way to do it in the 8th frame with a strike.
If Dennis Horan strikes out, he's going to shoot 246. Mike Scroggins going at a 250 pace. If he were to get 9, say in the 9th frame, and spare it, he would be at 249. So it's do or die right now for Dennis Horan. He must, in my opinion, strike out to have any chance.
There's the lane comparison. Dennis on the left. With his left, leaves the 6. This is a really big match for him.
Over.
If he won this match, he would have definitely clinched a spot on the exempt tour next year. He's all but in, but it would have wrapped it up officially.
Well, mathematically speaking, no, he's not locked, but realistically, he is locked. And right now, what you're looking at is Mike Scroggins winning his first match on television all year.
Tough day for Dennis. Knew he had a good shot at it. His wife, Terry, daughter, Courtney, 8 years old, watching back home in Southern California.
Get you some of that.
Help on the 9-pin. As he inches closer to his first TV win of this season. These are the guys who are exempt.
Win on TV.
He's acknowledging that, folks. Alphabetical order, these are the guys who are in. Based on points, not the winners. 11 different winners this year. 25 total bowlers are in for next year. We get to 50 between points and victories. We have other spots to be determined. The Q school over the summer. We'll get to 64, and this one is over. Mike Scroggins advances to the final, trying to win his 2nd title of his career. Exclusive live coverage of the PBA Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic is brought to you by Uniroyal, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal tire is trusted by American families since 1892. By New Odor Eaters Plus, the only arch-supporting insole that protects against odor and wetness. And by Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. Solid game from Mike Scroggins, and a mark in the 3rd frame finally for him on TV. First TV win of the year for him. 257-204 as we welcome you back to Belleville, Illinois. International Hall of Fame we just saw, located nearby St. Louis, founded in 1975. Its 41 members in the performance category include 1 international bowler, Amleto Monticelli, who's the subject of this week's Miller Milestone.
I love bowling so much that I didn't care what I have to go through. I knew that I was going to make. I knew that with my passion, my perseverance, and the strength and the will that I had, there's no way I should have made it. When I went home and decided to do, to bowl, and after my father, he understood that, what I wanted to do, but at the same time, he thought that I might be able to go to school at the same time. He realized that wasn't the deal. I wasn't going to be able to do that. So he agreed with me. But most of the people, like my uncles and my family in general, they thought that it was a crazy thing to do. But my father didn't care. He said, since he's young, if it doesn't work for him, he can always come back and go to school. So he had a very unbelievable point of view when you talk about 21 years ago. Tougher for me to get through. It was definitely being away from home. My family there, I was very young. I had to do everything myself. But at the same time, I thank so much for it because I learned so many things, and I wouldn't be the person I am right now if I didn't have to go through that stuff.
Amleto Monticelli, subject to the Miller High Life milestone. Mika Koivuniemi trying to become the 2nd ever international-born Hall of Fame member, along with Monticelli. First, Koivuniemi, Pete Weber, Patrick Hughes Jr., Walter Ray Williams Jr., and Steve Jarris are all 2-time winners this year. Got a good chance to have a 3rd victory from one of the 2 bowlers in this match. First, let's tell you about ABC Sports this afternoon. Championship match coverage between Tiger Woods and Davis Love, the 3rd dream matchup at the World Golf Championships. Match play championship action starts at 2 Eastern on ABC, 11 on the West Coast. Tiger, the defending champion, has won 11 straight matches there, which is a record. 6 last year, 5 this year. $1.2 million to the winner today.
Yeah, Tiger's got that in the cushions of his couch at home.
Dream matchup here as well. Two powerhouses. Mika shreds the rack.
It's going to be interesting to see where Walter Ray Williams Jr. is playing the lanes. If he is playing the same line as Mika, or is he going to be left or right?
These two are 1-1 overall, head-to-head on TV. Walter Ray has a .224 average in these two prior matchups. A little movement of the crowd to his right, so Walter Ray, we know, he's very focused. We saw that at the U.S. Open earlier this year. Wants it quiet. Pays off. Come on.
Almost identical lines. And here's our Baby Ruth real deal matchup. Walter Ray, slight edge in average, but remember, this guy right here is the tour average leader. And last night, in the round of 8, 19 in a row, 279, 279. He went open, off the sheet, and then started the next game with the front 8 against Jason Couch.
Wow. So, didn't have a 300 game in there, but was he ever consistent? 22, 24, and a great start here.
We refer to that as the Andy Verapapa 300 when you do it in 2 games. Walter Ray Williams Jr., again, playing a very similar line to Mika.
Eight shows in the second half, folks. Walter Ray's made 5 of them. Talk about a consistent run as he sprints for a 7th Player of the Year award and 2nd in a row. It's high right through the nose. Gets a nice count, though, at least 9 down. And a 3 up for Mika. I'm not sure we should translate that.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch it. This ball dressed high and a great break here, only leaving the 3-pin. There's that plastic spare ball, straight and hard. Great tip for you folks at home. If you're having trouble with spares, go out and buy a plastic spare ball. They're inexpensive. Straight and hard at the single pin spare.
Kansas City, Chicago, Windsor Locks where he won, Reno where he won, and here in St. Louis. What a consistent year it's been for him.
This first match, we saw him use 2 different bowling balls on each lane, now using the same ball. Evidently, the lanes have now changed to where they both look about the same.
10-pin, wiggles and stays up.
I'll tell you, when you're bowling Walter Ray Williams Jr. and he starts off with a double, and you're just coming out of practice, and you're not striking, that's a scary place to be. See him leaving the shaker 10.
We mentioned earlier in the broadcast he probably would vote for himself as Player of the Year. Maybe it's the opponent in this match, though. Walter Ray Williams Jr., Pete Weber have to be the 3 favorites right now. There's some other names you can throw in the hat.
I agree. I think those 3 names have been the most consistent, with the exception of Walter Ray's first half of the season.
Dead perfect right in the pocket again. We'll throw Patrick Healy Jr. in there because he has a major in the 2 titles, but 3 shows and has not been that consistent in the second half of the year.
Well, you know, if Walter Ray were to win this week, that would give him 3 titles, 1 major. Petey, if he were to win the World Championships, I think he would lock up Player of the Year honors.
Walter Ray told us last night because Pete, since winning the U.S. Open, hasn't been as consistent as he'd like. And maybe Walter Ray can take charge because of the great finish. It's a big boat. Gets help late on that one. All PBA members vote for it. We'll see how it turns out.
Oh, the old Tomahawk 10, a bowler's best friend. Watch this. Looks like it's going in the channel. Great shot there, guys. And watch the 6-pin go to the sidewall. Second to the right. Watch it go to the sidewall, in the channel, and just lean on the 10. Yeah, Walter Ray.
Late tap, and down she goes. Number 10 falls. Front four for Walter Ray. Mika, play catch up. It's high again, and the 4-7 remain.
The first ball that he threw on that lane that went high, it was left of where he just threw that one, which tells me he needs to take a giant step to the left, about 4 boards with his feet, and move his target about 2 left to get that ball to face the pocket the right way.
Walter Ray, number 2 in points, number 1 in earnings this year, over $200,000. Mika's 3rd in money, 2nd in tour points behind Brad Angelo. With the minimum he's earned in St. Louis, but he's already won 1 match and cranked up the point number even higher. Brilliant season for each. Mika told us his year with all the TV shows has wildly exceeded his expectations.
I think even he's surprised. But again, you know, all the hard work, the discipline, the working out with his coach Ron Hoppe has paid some serious dividends for this guy.
What a great lane level look as he crunches down 10 in the pit. 60 feet to success for Mika Koivuniemi. Doesn't quite like the smack of the pins going down, and a perfect ball from Mika. He's got that unique loft and really sends it down lane in a hurry.
This guy here can loft it. Watch this.
On lane 10. High in the 4-pin.
And you could see that happening. Mika lost the right lane, and that happens a lot of times. The lanes go through transition during practice. You're starting to warm up before a tournament. You're hitting the pocket every ball. The lights go on. You can't hit the pocket. You can't find it. And what I'm seeing right now in the right lane is the right lane is dried up on both players, but it's only affected Walter Ray with a 4-pin.
Stays perfect with that 4-pin. In his match victories all the way through, including another left-hand, 2 lefties in Jason Couch and Peter Hernandez. He was down, but came back.
Down 3-1 against Peter Hernandez, came back and won the last 3 games to advance.
Until he rallied against Jason Couch. Jason had been perfect in match play, but Walter Ray Williams Jr. can do that to you. 32-pin lead after the front 4. More semi-action. Bel-Air Bowl, Belleville, Illinois, and the Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic. Special thanks to Nalini Bridgestock, has got Baby Ruth, and Roddy Brown, promotions and brand manager for Baby Ruth from Nestle. The real deal it has been all season for us as one of our title sponsors.
Man, Dave, that candy bar, that's good. Excuse me, I was getting a little hungry.
You should finish that up before we get back
I'm
to
sorry.
commercial next
I'm
time.
sorry.
Okay. Back to Major Mika.
Went to a ball change, something that goes a little bit straighter, and it doesn't hold line. I think Mika, like I said, he needs to move in. Mika's more than capable of opening the lane up. But, you know, it's hard when you've done this, you played the lanes a certain way all week long for 40-some-odd games and practice. It's hard to switch gears.
Heard him say Kesta, which is hold in finish. He pins the cover, chops, and leaves the 6-10. A very damaging open frame for Mika in the 6. Suddenly it's a 46-pin deficit. And the way Walter Ray is bowling, that could be the end.
And this is just a loss of concentration, trying to figure out what he needs to do on that right lane to get the ball to strike. I guarantee he was thinking more about that than converting the 3-6-10. And very uncharacteristic of Mika. Wow.
That's way high through the heart.
Right now, Mika's completely lost, and he's going to get another shot at the 3-6-10.
Can he do it this time? Much better shot. And converts a 3-6-10 for a mark. But he has put himself in a huge hole after the open so late in the match. 8-pin count, 6th frame. On TV, we talked about the 5 shows he's made in the second half alone. Late help, tapping number 10, and down she goes. We are going to Indianapolis next week. Uniroyal Tire Classic, Woodland Bowl, Indianapolis. And don't forget, we wrap up our season at EMU's Convocation Center in Ypsilanti. Log on to PBA.com. Pro-Am's qualifying and match play takes place at Taylor Lanes, as it did last year in Taylor, Michigan. And then after the regular season is over, the Regional Players Championship will determine a spot, that first event, for next year's TOC. So it's big. And the tour trials are even bigger for quite a few bowlers. Randy, like yourself, going to probably do that tour trial thing if you don't win an Indy or the World Championship.
I'll be there if I don't get in bowling in Indy, or if I don't do something great the next 2 weeks. I'll be at the tour trials along with Del Ballard, our statistician, and a whole lot of other guys.
Mika is completely flummoxed. He is thrown off entirely. That's way high. And the deficit balloons for Mika Koivuniemi.
And it all started with his trouble on the right lane.
This is all but over now, folks. A little bit of a late collapse for Mika, which has been so unusual with his consistent year. You're the exempt field rules, 64-man field next year. Tour trials, Randy mentioned, 8 players will come out of that. 4 from the weekly tour qualifiers, 50 on points and wins, and a weekly Pro-Am as well. Our winners this year, we have 6 two-time winners, including Robert Smith, Norm Duke, and his injury is healed up, but he's outside that top 50 in points.
Normie in the mid-60s on the point list, and without that win, he'd have been in big trouble like the rest of us there on the outside looking in.
Talking about Q School, yeah. Walter Ray in the pocket. And he has wrapped this one up. Coming up next, the IRL season begins on ESPN, 2 o'clock Eastern. 2003 points champion Scott Dixon, 2-time Indy 500 champion Helio Castroneves will be there. And these are the top 6. On the pole is Buddy Rice. Tomas Schechter is there as well. He switched to the Panther Racing team this year. Mark Taylor in the 6th spot. Coming up, big race on ESPN. Well, we all left you in the final, Randy.
Excuse me, Dave. We all know Walter Ray Williams Jr. pitches horseshoes, but watch some of the breaks he's getting with the 10-pin. He may have a golden horseshoe in his back pocket. 6 goes to the wall, lays into the 10. Watch this one. Just saws the 10 in half. And then leaves a solid 7, or mixing 7, rather.
It won't matter. He's the winner in this semifinal match. And he'll take on Mike Scroggins, the lefty, who bids for his first title. Folks, he hasn't won since 1992. An unbelievable drought without a victory. And Mike Scroggins, 197 events without a win. Walter Ray has 2 victories in his second half alone. And now, he's also got a 2nd place. He'll have at least that wrapped up as he blasts past Mika in this semifinal. It's been a long time, as we mentioned just a moment ago. 92 in Sacramento last time. And Mike Scroggins won an event on tour. Scroggins is 0-1 lifetime against Walter Ray. 2003 Earl Anthony Classic in Seattle. Walter Ray won it 279-243 in their lone head TV matchup head-to-head. Like to change the trend today, but it won't be easy the way Walter Ray is on fire. As we've demonstrated, great run he had between the round of 16 and round of 8. 22 of 24 strikes. And that continues on TV today. 268 to 200. He blasts Mika. He's off to the final to face Scroggins. So Mika Koivuniemi got by Jason Couch in the wild card. That is why we're to the final now. Scroggins, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Second ever head-to-head TV match is coming up in front of our great crowd here in suburban St. Louis, leading us to the Geico Direct Championship recap. Right.
Earlier in the wild card match, it was Mika Koivuniemi defeating Jason Couch by the score 234-189. Mika making the 4-6-10. Semifinal number 1. Mike Scroggins defeated Dennis Horan by the score 257-204. Scroggins with that six-bagger, too much for Dennis Horan. And as we just saw in semifinal number 2, Walter Ray Williams Jr. taking down Major Mika, 268-200. Walter just too strong, setting up the great championship match for the PBA Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic title.
That's our Geico Direct Championship recap. Almost 200 events, Sacramento at 92 since Scroggins won a trophy like that.
Baby Ruth.
Last week of the Days-In Open in Dallas, Texas, the championship match featured Dave Traber and Steve Jarris going strike for strike.
Come on, baby. Yeah.
But in the end, Jarris prevailed, rolling 8 consecutive strikes to finish off the match and earn his second title of the season. Our 6th two-time winner of this PBA Tour year. Steve and June Jarris very happy last week. For good reason, after Jarris won his second title of this season. Also won in Toledo. And now ready to crown another champion here. On the line, $40,000 for the winner. And the points are critical too, although both of these guys are in for next year. Walter Ray's won twice, and Mike Scroggins, great year with the points.
Yes! Woo!
Fans are enthusiastic.
Been a long time since we've been in St. Louis. Great fans all week long, man.
This is Pete Weber country. We saw a reference to Pete there. His father Dick from this area. Scroggins. A 10-pin to start for Mike. Now, it's been a while since the PBA was here. Going on 7 years, but has returned now to the greater St. Louis area. Mike Scroggins wants to make some history.
Yeah.
Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic. We told you about the 22 of 24 strikes coming in to the semi, about 9 of 11 in that semifinal. Can he stay red hot? The answer. Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
6-pin higher average for Mike Scroggins. Let me just say this, when you're going against the behemoth of our sport, anything can happen, and Walter Ray's not going to go down easily.
Who'd he beat in the final? Pete Weber. 97, St. Clair Classic. PDW. This is his country. He's king around these parts.
Horseshoe of Walter Ray lives.
Number 7, so late on the trip.
Wow. I mean, if this was my ball, I would have left the bucket. Watch how light this is.
Go for a late paintball.
Look at that. Unbelievable. And even he's surprised.
Looking around for an answer to this enthusiastic crowd. I want to mention that in both centers, the fans have been just incredible here. The folks got to take in the falling all the way through the round of 8 last night. And I've never seen so many autograph requests during and after competition as we saw last night, the round of 8.
Great fans all week. Our last ABC telecast, this city, 1997, St. Clair Bowl. I was there. I bowled that event. Fond memories. But this is ESPN, and this is Mike Scroggins looking to take down the #1 player on the PBA Tour.
Won't be easy. Late help? No, 7-pin. You're wraps up the round of 32. Those who made match play out to the best of 7. Finishes the third frame in style with a mark.
All right.
We've spoken a lot with Walter Ray this year about his greatness, where it matches up in terms of the late great Earl Anthony. 10-pin. 39 titles for Walter Ray, 2 shy of Earl's record. He's tied him already with 6 Player of the Year honors. Walter Ray points out, hey, I've done it in a lot longer time. But as we asked him last night, as you see, just 2 shy of Earl. You've got to assess your career as being one of greatness, and he agreed with that. But where he sits all time is the question.
No, he's all-time #1 in my book. Earl Anthony, great player. Marshall Ullman, Mark Roth, all great players. But this guy has been dominant for 15 some odd years. All the different equipment changes that our sport's gone through, from plastic, from rubber to plastic to urethane, although Walter Ray wasn't out when there was rubber. But from regular urethane, reactive resin, the particle, Walter Ray Williams Jr. has been through it all and has remained on top.
He likes it. Walter Ray Williams Jr., a great start. Strikes in 3 of the first 4 frames. Leads by 9, bidding for another. Our Uniroyal Tire rock and roll. Why do we mention horseshoes? He's an horseshoe pitching champion, a world champion, who will compete again, the Worlds, in Idaho this summer.
And any other information you would like to know about Walter Ray, go to walterray.com. You can, he literally keeps track of every bowling ball he throws throughout the entire tournament. Yeah! Oh, hello, messenger.
Late help on number 7 for Mike Scroggins.
Head pin going to the sidewall. Here it comes. Bird dog looking to hunt. Finds its prey. 7-pin down. I don't think Walter Ray will be putting that on his website.
I doubt it. But getting back to the Walter Ray thing, I mean, on the Palm Pilot, he'll actually download to his webmaster the details of his shots, whether it was a high flush, whether it was a light hit, switch zone, whatever.
Exactly.
That's 10 hours of work per week for him, but he says it's worth it. And good work for Mike Scroggins as well. Thanks very much to Matt, the Bel-Air Bowl proprietor. Great help as well at St. Clair Bowl, leading us to our TV show here in Belleville near St. Louis, just across the Illinois state line. Boy, it looked awfully good off the hand. Walter Ray, 10-pin stands.
He liked this one. Made a little adjustment off of the weak 10 that he left the frame before last on that right lane. This one, you can see that he lofted a little bit further, got more hand in it. Big O ring and 10.
Takes care of the mark. Very tight match, down by 1 pin. As we mentioned, Patrick Healy Jr. is still alive. Player of the Year award possibilities. Pete has never won it, and I asked Dennis Horan last night, who would you vote for? He said Pete Weber, because he's never won it before. And he's right there.
Well, I think Pete Weber got robbed back in '87 when he should have won Player of the Year. And again, you know, the players vote on it, but I think back then it was a popularity contest lost by Pete. And I don't think it had anything to do with his ability or in what he accomplished on the lanes. In my opinion, a lot of others, he got robbed. As you see Walter Ray coming in light. Walter Ray did make a ball change on that lane. If Walter Ray does not win, it's still a crapshoot for Player of the Year. And in my opinion, 3 guys to look at: Mika, Walter Ray, Pete Weber.
Takes care of the 2-pin. Scoggins, a 2-pin lead. Chance for a 12-pin advantage as Paige Pennington, Walter Ray's wife, here as usual. Root Walter Ray on.
I'm getting a double box here.
there for Scroggins, up 12. That's a big shot.
Trying to take down the giant. Mike Scroggins gets this ball into the half pocket zone. Remember, he's got angle. He's got a nice soft hand. He's got really good pin carry going on.
A lone victory back in '92. That's it. He had been 0 for his last 6 on TV. Changed that today.
Nice double block looks from our technical director, Anthony DeMarco, as Mike Scroggins increases his lead with a 4-bagger and 22-pin advantage.
4-bagger through the 7th for Scroggins. It's damage control time for the great Walter A. Williams Jr. If anyone knows how to come back from that kind of hole, it's the...
Have you ever seen Walter A. this intense? It's almost a pride thing. Call it righty versus lefty, call it what you want. I call that a lot of enthusiasm, and it's game on. Get you some of that. Don't go anywhere, because we've got a real slugfest right now.
Is there any doubt, even after all the wins in his great career, Walter Ray is still a fierce competitor? No question. Big shot.
Come on!
Mike Scroggins right back in your face, Walter Ray. I'm not going anywhere. Here's a 5-bagger for you.
Mike's wife, Melanie, as we see the breakdown there, and Mike's dad back home in Texas have been taping every one of his TV shows, but he hasn't watched any yet, especially the 3rd frame where he had such trouble prior to today. But I've got a feeling maybe a FedEx or something, a little overnight shipment might be in the works if he can win this thing.
Biggest shot of the week right here. Biggest shot, quite possibly, of his entire career, and he pulled it off. Watch this. The ball's going to split the 8-9 in half. Bang. Mike Scroggins is going to be in the high 240s if he goes 9-spare. The best Walter Ray can shoot, 248. Must strike right here for Walter Ray.
Keep it going. Yes, he does. 22-pin deficit in the 9th foundation frame. 6-bagger for Scroggins. We heard a real Texas hee-haw after that last big shot from Mike.
Come on.
Coming to us from Amarillo, Texas.
All 3 in the 10th by Walter A. Williams Jr., 248. Mike Scroggins, 9-spare strike, 249.
Another one. If you love this PBA action, folks, don't miss next week, 12:30 Eastern. We're coming here from Indianapolis. First time since 2001 that we return to the Indy area for the PBA Euro Classic at 12:30 Eastern time. You're home for PBA Bowling ESPN Live coverage. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
In Tacoma earlier, the first tournament of the second half of the season, Walter Ray strikes out 9th and 10th to force Lonnie Wallachek to mark. Lonnie Wallachek leaves the big open frame. Walter Ray wins.
That's it, right there. Come on.
You don't win 39 titles, folks, without knowing how to put pressure on your opponent, and he's doing it again.
One more strike forces Mike Scroggins to at least get 9 on the first ball. If he gets 9 on the first ball, he needs a strike to win by 1. If he gets less than 9, Walter Ray, we could have a possibility of a tie if he goes 8-spare strike. Anything less than that, Walter Ray will win.
8 of 11. How about 9 of 12?
Gotta have it.
Gets in! Strikes out for 248, and the pressure is on the lefty, Mike Scroggins.
You are right, Dave Ryan, and pressure does strange things to people. Mike Scroggins taking a re-rack. an extra second to gather his thoughts, but right now, Mike Scroggins can strike the first ball in the 10th frame, and this match is over, and he's going to win his second title.
That's what he needs.
Forget about 9 spare strike. 10 in the pit right here, and it's over.
He has done it against the great Walter Ray Williams Jr. Just 5 pins now. You put it down the middle of the lane, Mike Scroggins. You have your first title since 1992. What a moment. That was pressure.
2 weeks ago, we saw Robert Smith throw 2 strikes in the 10th frame to beat Walter Ray. Mike Scroggins is going to do it to him again.
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
What an unbelievable performance. I've never seen Mike Scroggins throw it this good, ever. Against the greatest player in the world. What a feeling that must be. This is the money shot right there. Second ball in the 10th when he knew he locked it up.
His wife, Melanie. Children, Ross, Will, and baby Maggie are celebrating, folks, right now in Amarillo, Texas. Mike Scroggins is a PBA champion once again.
Yes!
That's a whole lot of sweets for the family. And lucky fans are going to get some right here. We'll wrap it up from St. Louis now. Real Deal Classic is brought to you by the official candy bar of the PBA, Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. By Geico, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Bel-Air Aspirin, take it for pain, take it for life. What a moment for left-hander Mike Scroggins, who wins for the first time since 1992. Mike, did you ever think you'd be back in this situation again? The winner's circle, holding a trophy aloft. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. You know, I really didn't think I'd ever get here again, but I've been bowling so well this year, and I just really like to thank Baby Ruth and sponsoring this tournament, and it's been a great week. Thank you.
I know it's emotional. Head-to-head with Walter Ray Williams Jr., you had to match his emotion on the lanes. How were you able to bring your game up all those levels?
Well, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So I just said, if you're going to make a career out of this, you better do it today.
And the big strikes late in the match, what was going through your mind at that point?
Well, you know, every time you bowl Walter Ray, you just about got to strike every shot. So, and luckily I did today.
All those TV appearances this year and finally the victory, did the frustration in the earlier part of the season pay off now? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I think winning the first match against Dennis really helped me a lot. I finally realized I could win on TV again.
And the third frame bugaboo finally went away for you, Mike. That's the good news. Randy, makes it very interesting now with the season after the victory.
Very interesting. Take a look at the points after today. Walter Ray Williams Jr. remains in second. And 2 guys looking to get into that top 8 for the World Championship, Michael Haugen and Doug Kent. And I got to tell you, the most rewarding thing in a professional's career is when he beats the best, like Mike Scroggins has said. Unfortunately for Walter Ray Williams Jr., his 37th second place finish. But you really got to take your hat off to Mike Scroggins. He came to play today, did what he had to do, and he took down the great Walter Ray Williams Jr. Dave.
Congratulations goes to Mike Scroggins, our winner at Bel-Air Bowl. It was an emotional day with Koivuniemi and Couch. Great to watch. Be sure to join us next week. The PBA Junior Classic from Indianapolis. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Coming up next, stay with us for the 2004 IRL Toyota Indy 300. For the entire crew, my partner Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from suburban St. Louis. The man of the moment, left-hander Mike Scroggins.